So this session is all about prompt engineering from basics. I'm assuming that a lot of you are not experts in it, or maybe some of you are already using it. We'll try to see some of the techniques. Maybe some of you are already uh, using prompt engineering or already good at it. Maybe you can find some of these points as useful and you can implement them. Let us go back around 15 years. For example, if I go back to 2010, somewhere around that time when there was no GPS, if you want to travel or if you want to go to or if you want to reach, let's say if you're in Bangalore, you want to reach Bangalore railway station or you want to reach Bangalore bus station. There was no GPS. How we used to do it? Basically, we used to ask people, isn't it? We used to, whenever we wanted to go, so we used to reach a nearby place, or whenever we are in doubt, let's say there's a road here and there's another road, this goes this way, there's another road, this goes this way. Then we used to ask some people who are around, bhai sab, like where exactly is Bangalore railway station? And some people were kind enough to say, like, you have to take right turn and then go left turn and then you will reach Bangalore railway station. Or some people will say, hey, hat ja yaar, matlab, kaam kaaj. So that was the scene around 15 years back. But are you going to do that today? Is anyone doing it right now? If
No,
you want
sir.
to reach any place, you actually open your GPS automatically. I would say almost 99% of the times we use a GPS nowadays. Now imagine a person who is still using this old methodology. Imagine a person who is not. Imagine a person who is not into this GPS. He has not updated himself and he is still using this old technology. Then he would be far behind, isn't it? So nowadays, using this methodology of asking around for the directions is considered as almost a person is far behind the civilization because GPS is almost in our day-to-day life. Similar to that, earlier until now, for every question that we have to get an answer, we used to use Google. I Googled it. I used Google to get my answer. Now, with the advent of large language models, in short, they are known as LLMs. So some of the examples of LLMs, some of the examples of large language models are ChatGPT is an LLM, large language model. Bard is a large language model. So with this ChatGPT, Bard, you can get the answers in a very precise manner. Now, if you're still using Google, this is very, very old methodology. If you're not using ChatGPT, or if you're not using Bard, or if you're not using the advanced LLM models, then you are considered almost like you are following very age-old methodologies. Now, this is the need of the hour. Have you heard? Have you seen these news articles that AI is going to take away your job? Has anyone seen those type of news articles like a lot of jobs will be replaced by AI, isn't it? Now that news is partially true. AI will not take away your job. Everybody, right now we are 40 people here in this particular class. All our 40 jobs are at risk, including my job. Everybody's job is at risk. It will be taken by AI, but not directly by AI. It will be taken by another set of 40 people. Your job will be taken away by somebody else who can handle AI very well. So your job will not be taken by AI. You will not be replaced by artificial intelligence. You will be replaced by a person who knows how to handle AI smartly. This is really the need of the hour. Until now, the whole research and development that has happened in AI, let's say if I take until 2020 or 2022, I would say, until that point, the number of papers that were published are these many. I would say, let's say, the number of papers published were around 1,000, coming from 1985, where the first artificial neural network came. From there until 2022, around 1,000 papers came. But from 2022, last 1 year itself, the whole advancement was so huge that it was almost exponential. Now the number of papers that were published, not 1,000, not 10,000, not 1 million, not 10 million, almost it is in tens of millions right now. A lot of people are doing a lot of research around it. So within just 1 year, the whole research has happened, or within 1 or 2 years, and it is going to go even more crazier than this. So this is the really the need of the hour. Everybody, like the way earlier, if you are a good employee, no matter what is your job profile, you should know how to use Google well, isn't it? Everybody should have that basic skill set of how do you solve a problem using Google. Similar to that, if you are working somewhere, after communication skill, the most important skill earlier was Googling, now it is prompt engineering. So what exactly is prompt engineering is what we are going to discuss right now. But before I proceed further, I'll pause here and I would like to take some questions if anybody has any questions. Either you can type it in the chat window or you can ask me directly. Anyone? Will you proceed? Okay. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever seen any application of a language model like this a couple of years back? Before 2020, have you ever seen any application of a language model? If you take Amazon, you write a comment in Amazon, automatically these keywords are extracted. Automatically, what are the positive keywords, what are the negative keywords, what are the neutral keywords, all of them are extracted. Automatically, as soon as you write a comment, whether it is positive or negative, the sentiment is detected. That is one of the application of a language model. I think one of the basic application that we always use is if you are typing on your mobile phone. Let us suppose you typed, I had such a, then automatically there is a suggestion. The next word is predicted. All of you, have you observed it? We don't really type the whole text by ourselves, isn't it? We type a couple of words and then we start selecting from these suggestions. That is one of the application of a large language model or a simple language model or a small language model. Some of you might have interacted with some of the chatbots already for some of the companies. When you want to interact with the customer care, before connecting you to the customer care, there is a chatbot that you will be interacting with. That is an example of language model. So these are the examples of, I would say, small or ordinary language models that we have used until now, until a point of time. But now these language models have become so powerful nowadays. The whole trend is into large language models. They are known as LLMs, large language models. So what are large language models? A large language model is a supercharged version of the regular language model. So these are the usual language models where you can predict the sentiment, where you can do the keyword extraction, where you can predict what is the next word, where you can give an answer to the question given by your customer. These are some of the examples of ordinary language models. What are large language models? What is the main distinguishing factor? So here is the main distinguishing factor between usual language model that work on the normal text data versus large language model. The data that is used is enormous. The regular language models were trained on the small amount of data, but these large language models literally took everything that is available in the internet. So these large language models, the data that is used for building these models, this is the internet data. Almost every book that is available, every book that is written until today, almost they're all scanned, they're all being used for building these large language models. Wikipedia, news articles, blog articles, like every bit of source has been used. And one of the biggest reason or one of the main reason why they are called as large language models, the main reason is the number of parameters are very, very high. So the number of parameters are high. Basically, the technical reason is the number of parameters are high. So what exactly is a parameter? Let us get an idea on what is a parameter. Basically, I'm just giving you a small introduction to a large language model. Then we will get into prompt engineering just within a couple of slides. So the number of parameters are very high. That's why these are called as large language models. What is a parameter? For example, you are applying for a home loan. There is one score that is checked. Let us suppose our student applies for a personal loan, there is one score that is checked. Only if that score is high, then only he will get the loan. What is that score that will be checked? Let's say you are applying for a personal loan right now. You need to have a good CIBIL score, isn't it? That is known as credit score. So credit score model, if you want to build a credit score model, or it will predict whether a customer is going to be risky or non-risky. A credit risk model will predict whether the customer will pay back or not. What are the variables that are used, or what are the attributes that are used? What is the customer payment history? What is his debt to income ratio? What is his credit utilization? What is the length of credit? What is the type of credit? What are the recent credit inquiries? What are the public records? What is the total debt income? Like that, nearly around 50 to 100 features or 50 to 100 attributes are used. Now, each attribute is given some weightage. If a customer has this much utilization, if a customer has these many credit cards, a weightage is given. That weightage is known as parameter. So for building a credit risk model, nearly we use 100 features. We have 100 weights. These 100 weights are known as 100 parameters. So simply you can say a credit risk model, something like CIBIL score, is also a model that has 100 parameters. 100 parameters, that is a regular way. Like those are the models even our students, when they join a company, when they join HSBC Bank or Citibank, they will be building credit risk models. Roughly there are 100 parameters. Now, in a large language models, the number of parameters in GPT, GPT-2, GPT-3, the number of parameters run into millions, or here it is billions. Here there are 100 parameters. For GPT-3 10x, there are 1.75 trillion parameters. That means billion. These many parameters versus a credit risk model has 100 parameters. So these are the number of parameters. Because the number of parameters are very high, that is why these are called as large language models, or simply we can call them as language models. So what is a language model? What does it do? A language model finds some interesting patterns in the data. A language model finds the interesting patterns in the data, helps us in predicting or summarizing or classifying the text. But if you are using enormous amount of data as well as enormous amount of parameters, then it is a large language model, and these are damn powerful. Why? Where is the power coming from? One is the input data that has been used. Almost the full internet has been trained. All the books, all the news articles, all the Wikipedia articles, all the social media pages, everything has been used for training, and the number of parameters are running into trillions. That is the reason. I'll pause here before I move on to the next slide. Any quick questions, anybody? Any general questions are also fine. Now here is
Sir,
a, yeah.
what will be the parameters for these models?
So
Basic parameters.
basically, a parameter is something like a weight. Okay. So basically, to get an easy idea on parameter, what I would say is to calculate a credit score. These are called variables that are used. This is the variable. One of the variable is what is your total debt. Now, the weightage that I give to total debt is not same as the weightage that I give to your marital status. It's not same as the weightage that I give to the number of dependents. So the weightage is, let's say, W1 here, W2 here, W3. Every variable that is used for calculating your credit score will be given different weightage, W1, W3, and so on, WK. These weights are known as parameters. So you can say these parameter count will give us an idea on the complexity of the model. So I would say a credit risk model, we will use 100 parameters. 100 parameters means 100 weights will be used. So they will be the coefficients, or they will be the weightages of the variables that are used. Okay. So similar to that, there will be around 1.75 trillion weights that will be used in predicting what is the next. Like here we are providing, or we are doing some complex tasks. Here it was just a prediction of 0 versus 1, whether a customer will be defaulter or non-defaulter, whether a good customer or bad customer. But here we are doing various tasks like summarizing the text or predicting the next word in the text or doing the sentiment, etc. Yeah. So here the text data itself will be the input, and the parameters are nothing but those weights in that are involved in that model. So basically you can think that like every word that you have used will be given some weightage. Okay, or it's not typically that word, the word is converted into something else. In simple words, you can think that as every word has given some weightage, so the weights are around running into trillions. Yeah.
Okay.
Now one important information here is the prompt is not same as Google search string. The prompt that you give, basically the input to large language model, instead of using large language model, I will replace that with chat gpt from here on. All of you are comfortable with it. Chat gpt is one of the large language model. The reason why I'm introducing this large language model to you right now is, maybe right now chat gpt is one of the world's most widely used large language model. Probably there will be another large language model that will take over ChatGPT very soon, isn't it? Already Bard is doing a little better in some places. There may be some other large language model. Suddenly Facebook may announce something, or suddenly Amazon may announce something. So all these are large language models. ChatGPT is one of the large language models. So from here on, when I say ChatGPT, you have to imagine that is a large language model. So the input to ChatGPT is a prompt. The biggest mistake that we do is we try to give a prompt. It is almost like a Google search string. Chat GPT prompt is not same as Google search string. Whenever you are interacting with Chat GPT, you write something in Chat GPT, you just take a pause, look at it. Does it sound like a Google search string? That means whatever you type in Google, are you typing the same here inside Chat GPT? If you are doing the same, then you will not get the good right answer. You're not doing it right. Consider this prompt is not merely as a query, or it is not a search string. You have to consider Chat GPT like a robotic assistant. For example, you are interacting with a robot. You have to give instructions very clearly, isn't it? Imagine even the robot is just sitting outside. You cannot say, come inside. If you are asking a robot to come inside, what you need to say, please stand up, turn to your right side, take 4 steps, and then turn left side, open the door, come take 4 steps forward, then wait for my next instruction. Now these are the instructions that you have to give. Otherwise, if a robot is sitting outside your room, if you say come inside, what it will do, it will break the glasses and it will come inside. And whose mistake is it? Is it robot's mistake? No, it's our mistake. We did not give a very clear instruction. So you have to treat Chat GPT like a robotic assistant. You cannot give the same very short instruction, a short query that you used to give it to Google. That is the major difference that you have to identify. If you can take that as one final takeaway from this session, that is sufficient. Basically, a prompt is not same as Google search string. A prompt has to be well planned. So what is prompt engineering? What is this whole session about? Meticulously designing a prompt. How do you design a prompt? You change the way you are interacting with GPT, Chat GPT. Meticulously designing a prompt by incorporating all the essential information. That is known as prompt engineering. So we have to include some context. We have to include the tone. We have to include what is the output that we want to see, what is the output format. Give as many clear instructions as possible so that you can avoid all these ambiguities. That is very important. Everybody in the classroom here, all of you are using Chat GPT. I know that. But how do you make the maximum out of it? By learning prompt engineering. Because everybody right now, you are doing your job, And now you have this powerful tool called chat gpt. By using it's almost like prompt engineering is like a manual, user manual. Like you may have a good machine with you, if you do not know how to use it, then you cannot utilize its full potential. So the typical standard method, what we do, let us suppose I go to chat gpt and type, how do I become a data scientist? Then you will get some output, you will get a very lengthy output. Now I see this, and if I'm going to type the same in google also, like how do I become a data scientist, almost it sounds very similar to google search string. Generally the output that is given by chat gpt is very lengthy for these kind of prompts, and it is very very generic. This is also known as zero shot prompting. A short means example. You did not really give any example. Zero shot prompting. Zero shot prompting is same as Google searching. The way you search in Google, you directly give it in ChatGPT. That is known as zero shot prompting, and this is where a lot of people are using ChatGPT. You have to go one level above it, one level, two level, three level above it, then your productivity will increase. What is zero shot prompting? What are the other examples? You directly type what is NLP, how to learn generative AI. Give me some Python basic examples. How do I earn money from stock market? Instead of like some people write directly, how do I earn money? Some people directly write like, where do I get the money? Abhi money de do, like give me some money. What is a good diet plan? Write deadline extension mail to my client. So these are zero shot prompting examples. So basically here ChatGPT doesn't know whether you're a beginner or an expert when you ask for explain NLP to me. If you're a beginner, then there is a different explanation. If you're a 10 years old kid, then there's a different explanation. If you're a layman, then there's a different explanation. Give me some Python basic example. Is it for a developer or a data scientist? Python is actually for two different sets of people. Python developer is different, Python data science is different. How do I earn money from the stock market? Very generic request. What is a good diet plan? The diet plan changes based on the location. If you're in India, if you're in South India, then the items that you get are very different. Now, if you say, how, give me a good diet plan, then ChatGPT starts giving you, you have to eat broccoli, you have to eat avocado, you have to eat the dragon fruit, etc., etc. Now, those we don't get it here, isn't it? Or maybe you're in US, then it starts suggesting that you have to eat idli, dosa, etc. They won't get there, isn't it? So you have to give the gender, location, age. Based on that, the diet plan changes. Do you agree with that? The major difference between ChatGPT and Google is Google search, it searches the internet, it finds the websites and gives you. This is what Google does. That means if there is no information related to your search, then Google cannot give you a good result. But the thing with ChatGPT is it will generate and give you. That means whatever you're asking for, somebody may not have written it, but the model is so powerful that will generate and give you. Since it is generating something new, you have to give very clear instruction. So what is the issue with zero shot prompting? Context is missing, examples are missing, the results will be quite broad, unspecific, generic, repetitive, etc., etc. This is the problem with zero shot prompting. And this is where the starting point is. Everybody, most of the times we tend to do zero shot prompting. I think most of you have gone through this phase and you started improving it already. So improvements from the zero shot prompting. So everybody might have come up with their own system or the methodology. Like when you're using ChatGPT, maybe you may have come up with some tips and tricks. You may be following them right now. So I'll give you one of the structure that I follow. Maybe if you find it useful, you can use that as well. Or along with whatever structure that you're following, you can attach this and you can use a combination of these two. So the structure that I gave you is it has five elements. When you are giving ChatGPT, you always think whether these five elements are there in the prompt or not. When you're giving a prompt to ChatGPT, always search for these five elements. First element is role playing. Second element is examples, domain and context, display, and then the iterations. I'll explain you one by one. So the first one is role playing. You have to give a role to ChatGPT. ChatGPT is vast. It's an ocean. ChatGPT is a lawyer. ChatGPT is a doctor. ChatGPT is a data scientist. ChatGPT is a cook. It is literally like it is a writer. Everything, isn't it? Now you tell ChatGPT the role that it has to take. Instruct ChatGPT to step into the shoes of an expert. For instance, if you're asking any code related question, ask ChatGPT. Maybe you ask ChatGPT to get into the shoes of a software engineer with a decade of experience. Imagine you are a software engineer with 10 or 15 years of experience. Then you write the query. Then you write the prompt. Then you will get a very specific answer, not a very broad answer. So some of the examples are, instead of asking explain NLP to me, you first tell ChatGPT, put yourself in the shoes of an NLP expert. What is generative AI? Instead of asking that, you first ask ChatGPT, imagine you are an expert in generative AI and related fields. Instead of asking Python basic examples, put yourself in the shoes of a seasoned Python developer with extensive knowledge. If you want to learn about stock market, imagine like here you are asking ChatGPT to become a generative AI expert. Now you're asking, imagine you are an experienced stock market expert with proven track record. Imagine you are a nutritionist with extensive expertise. Then ChatGPT will imagine. Basically, what it will do is it will ignore all the other parameters. It will focus only on the nutrition related data. It will focus only on the nutrition related parameters. It will give you very, very precise answer. Imagine you're a seasoned business communication expert with years of experience. Then give me a deadline extension email and it will be wonderful. Imagine you are a skilled poet, then write a poem on my teacher in medicine, in finance, in marketing. You find out what is the maximum role. You ask ChatGPT to get into that role. That is the first aspect, role playing. Is that clear, everyone? Am I making sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Let's go to the second aspect, examples, exceptions, inclusions, exclusions. So give ChatGPT some examples. These examples are known as shorts. So if you're giving some examples, then ChatGPT will very easily learn that what is the context that you are talking about. Then it will give you very precise and very much related answers, which are almost like the one that you are searching for is readily available to you within one go. Example is known as short. So if you are giving few examples, this is known as few short prompting. So right now there are so many job openings right now outside. Let me put her on prompt engineering. When somebody is trying to hire prompt engineers, they are trying to hire few guys who know how to do this few short prompting. And once you know that, it's damn easy. What is few short prompting? You just give some shorts or examples. A short means example. For example, I write this is all a prompt. Input overall okay, biryani was not good, rest of the items were good, kadai paneer, etc. etc. This is one review, and output is positive, high price. So basically, I want the output to be having sentiment in it and what is the major point that the person is talking about. This is one example that I gave. I gave another example to ChatGPT in the prompt itself. Input is there is no menu card, staff to say to the menu, etc., etc. All those things. Like this is actual review that I have taken from the restaurant's website. And then the output that I want is what is the sentiment and the issue. So I gave two examples. This is then I wrote the input only. Third one, I never leave this place disappointed, etc., etc. There's one more review. What is the output? That's what I wrote. Now, if I give this whole thing as input, short one, short two, few short, and then the third one, and there is no output here. Now, what is the chat GPT response? Very clear, precise. See, you are not getting a very lengthy output here. Usually, Whenever you give something to chat gpt, it will give you a very lengthy output, but look at the effectiveness of few short prompting. You have given two examples. Based on that, it has given you the output, it has given you the sentiment, and whatever is the major point of the discussion. For example, I have given french fries, unhealthy trans fats, what is the number of calories. And then potato chips, I have mentioned what are the main important ingredients and the calories. Soda, main ingredients and the calories. Then I told fill the below examples automatically. For candy, for burgers, for pizza, these are being filled. I told complete the below workout plan for a 6 days week. So I gave day one, only one example: chest push-ups, 2 sets, chest flyers, bench press, etc. Then I gave day two is shoulder automatically. Day one, day two, day three, day four, day five, day six, and day seven rest has been filled automatically. And no other gibberish. Few short prompting is one of the most sought out skill right now. People are crazy. Let's say if you are good at few short prompting, forget about somebody looking for it. You can improve your current role. You can improve or you can increase your productivity very, very much. I have been using it and it is really useful. Now let's recap quickly. What are the first two as elements? First element, what was the first element when you are typing a prompt, when you are designing a prompt? What is the first element that you have to keep in mind?
Role playing.
R, role playing. You ask ChatGPT to take a role. What is the second element that you have to keep in mind without missing it? Role playing followed by
Include some examples.
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 Exceptions.
Examples, exceptions, or inclusions, etc., etc. Role playing and then examples. Then the third element that you have to remember is domain and context. Always mention the domain and context. So for example, you say that I want to learn Python. Put yourself in the shoes of a seasoned Python developer with an extensive knowledge. Give me the learning path to become a Python developer. Now, Python developer is very different. In DV Analytics, we don't really teach Python developer course. It's very different. It's object-oriented programming, data structures, and then web development, etc., etc. The learning path is very different. Python is a multi-purpose language. We use it for different purposes. Now, if you give the domain and context as Python developer, then this is in that context. If you change the domain and context, let's say, give me a learning path to become a Python data scientist. I want to become a data scientist. Then the learning path is different. First, it will say master the fundamentals, but not same fundamentals. And then earlier it was object-oriented programming. Now it is data manipulations, data visualization, machine learning. Like this is what we teach here. You give the domain and context. If you say, suggest me a good diet plan. Now this is a very generic diet plan. Take fruit, vegetables, etc., etc. But nobody like, you cannot just go ahead and take this diet plan as it is. You have to give the domain and context. You have to say, imagine you are a certified nutritionist with extensive expertise. Automatically what ChatGPT will do is it will search all the books, or it will take the information, or it will give higher weightage to the books that are written by certified nutritionists. It will give higher weightage to those news articles that are given by certified nutritionists. So in the internet until now there are millions or maybe couple of thousands of articles from them. Provide a personalized guidance on what constitute a highly effective tailored diet plan, and give your context. What is the context? I live in South India. I don't live in California. I'm a male. My age is 38. My height is 5.8. My weight is 73 kg. For this, you suggest me a diet plan. And this is the diet plan. Breakfast. Eat this for breakfast. Idli dosa. मॉर्निंग स्नैक, लंच, आफ्टरनून स्नैक, डिनर, बिफोर बेड. इतने बार खाएंगे तो घर में तो मारेगा, राइट? like you're not supposed to eat these many times, I guess. Like at least maybe by asking it 2 3 times, I give me a simple one, then we may get another plan. Okay, what I'm trying to highlight here is the domain and context. Based on the domain and context, the output changes. Without any context, with context. So here, what are we trying to do? Here we are giving the context. Assume that you are an experienced investment banker. Earlier we told that how to earn money from stock market. That's not the way to ask. Now there are two things in stock market. One is trading, the other one is investing. You can be a short-term trader. You can be a long-term investor. You mention that I want to be a long-term investor. Explain me key factors or the ratios that are crucial for evaluating the stocks. I want to do long-term investments. List these in a short and easy manner to understand that are suitable for beginners. Context is beginners, long term. I'm giving all the context here. Then these are the ratios that are given. Let me tell you, this is very effective. I have personally used these ratios to pick up the stocks, and the returns are quite amazing. Very, very easy manner you can actually pick up stocks based on the suggestions given by ChatGPT. Obviously, there will be little risk. We have to do some more study before we get into that investment, but the results given by ChatGPT are very, very effective. Explain Bhagavad Gita. Explain the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita. But what is the context? To a 12 years old kid, I want to explain Bhagavad Gita to my son. Now I cannot really start preaching and all that, right? Now, what are the 5 key points that I can take? Simple. Duty and responsibility. The first thing, your duty. The second one is focus on your inner peace. Don't get into competitions and all that. Your self discovery, equality and respect, and then spirituality eventually. These are the 5 key points that are discussed in Bhagavad Gita. Those you can tell for a 12 years old kid. You can change the context to explain it to a 40 years old man or 40 years old person, and then explain it in, like, you can change the context. So that is the third element. Tell me, let us recap once again, what are the elements whenever you are designing a prompt? First, you always make sure that you are mentioning R,
Role.
role play, followed by, so you want to give
Examples.
something to ChatGPT, you think about the role that ChatGPT has to take. And then what is the next one? You give some
Examples.
examples if possible. I'm not saying that you have to force every prompt like this, but you try to do a quick verification. Am I really covering all this? Okay. And what is the next one? Role play, examples, followed by
Domain. Domain and
domain
context.
and context. 3 elements. Now, sometimes what happens is you write something in ChatGPT, you have to change the context. Let's say you have written this, explain philosophy of Bhagavad Gita to a 12 years old kid. Now you want to talk about Python. Now this is a chat window. What happens is ChatGPT is still stuck in this context only. So usually what do you do to change the context? Tell me, if you want to change the context from Bhagavad Gita, you want to come to Python. Usually what I have seen people do is simply they start a new chat, isn't it? Usually we tend to start a new chat. Let me give you that example here. How does that appear? For example, right now I am in this mind map of career growth or something like this. Okay. Now, whatever I write here, it is somewhat connected to this. But if I want to change the context, we tend to open a new chat, isn't it? Let's say if I talk about NLP pipeline feature here, okay. Now, whatever I write here, it is connected to this NLP pipeline feature. But what if I want to talk about something else, or a sales email, or a cold mail, or a sales pitch? If I want to talk about it, now here everything that you give in ChatGPT is connected. So whatever you write here is connected to the previous one. So if you want to start a fresh chat, generally people tend to open a new chat. Instead of that, you can write it here itself. Start a new chat. If you say start a new chat, then automatically previous ones will be ignored. Of course, feel free to ask. So from here on, the previous context is ignored. So that is a small, quick trick that you can use. If you want to use a single window only, you can say start a fresh chat, or ignore the previous messages, begin a new conversation, ignore all the previous chats, or start a new conversation. That is what you can do. The next element, there are 5 elements overall. The next element is display and format. You can ask ChatGPT to give you the output in the style that you want. You can ask ChatGPT to display the output in the form of bullet points. Don't leave it to the default. Tell ChatGPT how do you want to display the output. Tabular values, sections and subsections, code blocks, quotes and dialogues, labels and annotation. These are different display formats. For example, you can say list the top attractions in Paris and France and give me in a list format like this. Do not include any explanations. Here, bullet points. You can ask what should be the display, bullet points or the sections and subsections. So here, create a structured essay with sections and subsections about generative AI. First section, introduction, followed by how generative AI works, followed by applications of generative AI, 1.1, 2.1, 2.2, like that. You can ask ChatGPT to create a table. Create 10 MCQ questions on Python pandas. Arrange the questions in a tabular format with 6 columns. Question followed by option A, option B, option C, option D, and then the answer column. Then it will be a table. Display the output in a tabular format. You can display equations in the output. You can obviously, most of you might have used the code will be coming as code blocks. You can ask the code to be displayed in code blocks. So that is the fourth element. Let us quickly recap what are the elements. When you are designing a prompt, I know I'm repeating this, I just want to plant this in your brain, that's why. When you're giving a prompt, make sure that you always think about
Role play.
role
Role
play. You give a role to ChatGPT. After giving a role, try to give
example.
some examples also if it makes sense. After giving some examples, make sure that you
Domain.
always mention the domain and the context.
Contest.
Once you mention role play and then examples, domain, and context, don't forget to ask ChatGPT to display. So, what is the next one? Display in a
Display.
particular format, display output in the format that you wanted. Then the next one, the last element is iterations. What happens is the answer that you're looking for may not be appearing or coming to you in the first go itself. You have to get into multiple iterations, get the initial response, have a look at it. Sometimes you just need to resubmit it. But a lot of times I have seen people doing just resubmitting it. Like I have sent a query, I have sent a prompt, I got the output, but I'm not happy with this output. A lot of times we tend to resubmit, regenerate. Now that is very irritating. Not only for us, it is irritating for ChatGPT also. What you need to do is, this is chat, you can give extra information, go iterative way. Let's say you have written some prompt and you did not get the right output, resubmit it maybe maximum once or twice. If you're still not getting the good output, along with it give some more instructions. It is iterative, give some more instructions. In the above output, this is what I liked, this is what I haven't liked. Adjust the prompt, adjust the above prompt. That reinforcement is possible in ChatGPT. It's not like Google search, where once you give first search and again you give another search, these two are independent, isn't it? You search for something, again you search for another thing in Google, these two are independent, but in ChatGPT these are all connected. So you write a prompt and then you get the output. In that output you tell what you liked, what you didn't like, and then you again write another prompt. Maybe you get the final output in 4 or 5 instructions, like phase wise instructions. Add conditions if required to get better results. So you go for iterations, you can do the error correction, you can enhance the output. For example, how should I write my resume for a job application is one of the prompt. Maybe I have written it wrongly, I did not include all the details. This is the output that I got. Then I would say adjust the above one to make it suitable for a data analyst position. And these are the ones that I got. Previously, it was work experience, skills, additional sections, general tips. Now it's very different. Focus on relevant experience related to data analytics. Then the keywords come Python, SQL, Power BI, Tableau. All these keywords are coming up, isn't it? Create a sales speech for an online training program. Then how do you adjust that? Like this is the output that you got once you submit that prompt, and then just below it, don't resubmit it, just below adjust the above sales page for a data science program. Now this is for a generic online training program, adjust it for a data science program. Then this is the sales page. You talk about specialized data science curriculum, learn data science from experts, hands-on learning, industry tools and techniques, networking opportunities. This doesn't suit us, like these 4 points are spot on. And then share about success stories, and then whom should enroll, what is the special offer that we have, call to action, etc. You directly ask, how can I improve my credit score? Can you give me output in the bullet points? Now, this is how you can improve the credit score. You see here, everything is in dollars. Probably this is coming from US based articles. Now you give another adjustment, adjust the above output to improve CIBIL score in Indian context. Then the values are in numbers now. And some of these suggestions are pretty good. One of that, only after writing this chat, when I'm preparing this document, I got to know that basically what you can ask your bank is you can ask them to increase the credit limit. If you ask them to increase the credit limit, let us suppose if your credit limit is 1 lakh, if you are using around 30K, then utilization is 30%. If utilization is high, you are considered as risky, then your credit score will be low. If you ask the bank to increase the credit limit, if possible, if they increase it to 4 lakh, you're using the same 30K, but your utilization is far lesser now, maybe something like 8% or something. Even though you're using 30K, your utilization is 8%. Then your credit score will be high. If your credit score is high, then when you're taking a home loan or something, you can save almost until like up to 25 lakhs easily. Somebody is paying interest of 8.8% versus somebody is paying interest of 9%, somebody is paying interest of 8.4%. This person would save around 25 lakhs compared to a person who is paying around 9% interest on his home loan. So you got to focus on your credit score improvement using some of the tricks that are mentioned here. Go iteration by iteration, iteration by iteration until you refine it, you regenerate, refine, improve until you get the best output. So there are 5 elements in structuring a proper prompt. Let us quickly recap those 5 elements for one last time. What are the 5 elements? This time everybody must participate. You don't need to unmute yourself, but tell it to yourself, like what are the 5 elements. You start with, when you are writing a prompt, when you are designing a prompt, always check for 5 elements, whether these 5 elements are present in your prompt or not. What are the 5 elements? The first
Role playing.
element is you give a role for ChatGPT. You ask ChatGPT to be one of the greatest sales manager ever. You ask ChatGPT to be one of the most experienced marketing manager. You can ask, you can give any role, and then followed by
Examples.
examples. You give some examples to ChatGPT. Don't shy away. ChatGPT will give you answers how many ever times you ask. It'll give you, like I am using ChatGPT, but here you have to imagine that is an LLM. ChatGPT is one of the LLMs. Like that, you have Google Bard, that is another LLM. There are other LLMs that are coming up. Okay. Role play followed by examples, followed by
Domain and context.
domain and context. Domain and context. Mention, always mention the context, and then followed by
Display outputs.
display the output in whichever format you want, and then
Literation.
iterations. Now how do you remember this? Like how do I remember it? Who, like what is my full name? Venkat Reddy, right? So you can imagine this as my surname like REDD. Actually, it is REDDY. You can say REDDI. Okay. So imagine
Super, sir.
RED. Okay. So is it easy for remembering REDDI? Okay.
Okay, sir.
REDDI. So you just think like Venkat sir, like Reddy is there or not? Like look at your prompt, is Reddy there? You cannot see me, then that prompt is not complete. Okay. So
Okay.
in every prompt you check for Reddy. Okay. So what is it? Role play, examples, display, and then like a domain, display, and iterations. I'm not saying that you should force every prompt to sit in this particular structure. What I'm saying is if you have this in mind, at least you will improve whatever is the existing prompt. Okay. So those are the 5 elements that I generally consider. So that is the theory part. Probably it is good for sleeping around this time. Let us do some activity now. Let us try few examples. Okay. We will try to go through each and every team and then try to do one example from every team. Then you have to tell me how do I structure your prompt. Which team shall we start with? We start with HR team, Kirti ma'am. Let us suppose you want to send, like, what is the general day-to-day job like? You send offer letters, right?
Yes, sir.
Right? So let us create one offer letter. So tell me how do, like, basically the context or the scenario here is you have to send an offer letter to a person named Alex. Okay. Have we hired
Okay.
anybody named Alex until now?
No, sir.
Like,
Not yet.
not even his relatives. Okay, fine. So let us start with Alex. Now tell me, everybody participate. Kirti ma'am wants to send an offer letter to Alex. And what is the job that we are offering him, Alex? We are offering him a business development role. Okay. Now
Okay.
tell me. Yeah.
So create offer letter.
First, let us write the
Um,
simple query. Create
um,
or generate
generate offer
okay,
letter
an offer letter
for Alex as
for Alex as
as
hired
business
as
development
hired as
had as business development
hmm,
manager or something. Business development
hired
agent.
as BD, business
Development.
business development manager, business development manager. Now let us mention some more details. Generate an offer letter for Alex who has been hired as, like, after this let us keep, like, shall we mention any other details? Okay. His joining date
Hmm.
is, like, basically we don't want to do anything after this. Like, it has to be so perfect that we just copy paste it and send it to Alex that way.
Hmm.
His joining date is 30, like 30 February, because
No.
Alex is fictional. 30
Fifth
February.
February.
Yeah. So,
Fifth February.
so it is like 1st March. Okay. And then 2024. His manager name or reporting manager, let's not mention anything. What
Okay.
is the location? Location is
Mm,
in which
Bangalore.
branch? Bangalore branch. Okay. And then are we missing anything? Now what we need to tell ChatGPT is, like, you directly asking the role, what role we have to give ChatGPT, like who generates such offer letters? Who generates?
Salary is missing, sir.
Salary is missing. That's a good point.
HR manager.
HR, that's like, is it HR manager who generates these mails? Like, who's, like, if you take the best of the best HR manager, how do we call, like, what role we have to give it to Chat GPT? What role? Imagine
Imagine in the shoes of
everybody else, you can also participate, please.
imagine
Like,
in the shoes of
hmm,
VP HR.
you are a
Imagine you are the VP HR
VP. That is good. VP HR. Okay.
and generate
Then generate An offer letter for Alex, hired as business development manager. His joining date is this one. His location is
Branch,
Bangalore.
yeah, company name,
Ha,
CTC.
our company name. Company name is TV Analytics. Address is Murugesh Palya, M. Palya, Bangalore. His salary is
Um,
salary is
assume 10 LPA, sir, 10 LPA.
10 LPA. Alex may not like it, but we will give it. This is the one. We are pleased to extend you an offer letter, position, start date, salary, etc., 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 etc. Terms of employment, terms, gains, everything is coming. Okay. Now this is iteration one. Okay. Now you can ask, make it much more professional. Okay. You can say, make the above letter more professional. All right. So that is one example.
We
Okay.
can add roles and responsibilities also.
Perfect. Okay. You got the point, right? So, okay.
Yes, sir.
Now let's go to some other team. Now I would say, now how do you ignore the previous chat? Now whatever we do in this chat, like now this is after letter for Alex. That is a chat name. So everything that happens here is Alex and his offer letter, HR, VP, etc., etc. Those are all the points that will be considered here. So how do you ignore the previous chat? You simply say ignore the previous chat or start a new chat. Okay, start a new chat.
Okay.
Of course, I can assist you today. Okay, let's go to some other team. Which other team shall we go? Shall we go to L&D team?
Answer.
Yes. Who wants to volunteer from L&D team? Any one person?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. So what we will do is from L&D team, like usually we tend to get questions from students, right? Like they ask us questions, especially the mentors. Like you get so many questions from the students. Sometimes they ask you general questions that are not covered in the classroom. Let's say today
Okay.
somebody called me, sir, how do you handle large amounts of data in Python? Okay. Or somebody has asked you to give few more examples of a particular concept. Let's say they want to practice pandas, okay, within Python. So how do you create them? Like create, or let's say somebody wants to learn more about prompt engineering, or somebody wants to learn more about a particular concept. So how do we create that? Let us suppose somebody wants to learn about prompt engineering, or let's say pandas. Like pandas is a Python concept. Like if they want to learn that, we have to generate the syllabus for it. Like basically what we will tell him is, like, this is the syllabus for you. You just learn this, then you are at a very good position. Okay. Now, how do we write that query? Okay, let us start writing. So basically the context here is a student wants to learn a particular concept within Python. Pandas
Box
is a
plot.
package. Okay. No, somebody wants to learn pandas package within Python. Okay. So basically pandas is one of the concept you can think of. Okay. So that, how do we give the, like, how do we generate the, overall contents that a person has to learn? Have you understood the requirement, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Or to make it easy, somebody wants to learn something called Power BI. A student wants to learn Power BI. We have to give him what is the syllabus for Power BI. Okay. So let us generate the syllabus for Power BI. Now let us structure it. So let us write the basic prompt now. So what is the first basic prompt that we write? What is the syllabus for Power BI? What is the syllabus for Power BI? Now start adding some elements. Okay. Who is writing? Atul, you want to write something? Are you interested in annotating? Yes. Tell me what you want to annotate. I'll put it
By
here.
mistake it was, sir, actually.
Okay, no problem. We'll draw also, like Python can be like this. ChatGPT is useful for drawing as well. I'll show us that example if time permits. Generate the, like, what is the syllabus, or generate the syllabus for Power BI. Generate the syllabus for Power BI. Or now tell me, what is the context? Imagine you are a seasoned Power BI trainer. Okay. Generate the course curriculum for Power BI. Exclude, like, examples and exclusions. Exclude developer aspects. Include data analyst topics. Right or wrong? Display the output. Am I including role? R. After that, E, example. And then domain and context is what I am including. Okay. And include data analyst topics. Display the output in a tabular format or in sections and subsections. That's it. Power BI curriculum. Section 1, Introduction. Section 2, Getting started with Power BI Desktop. Installation, interface, navigation, data modeling, data sources, data transformation, creating the data models. Then comes the DAX. If you go through my Power BI curriculum, exactly this is what we will be doing. So we'll be doing it twice actually, on data visualization, storytelling. Imagine this is your first version, then you add a few more constraints and then get into many more examples later on. I'll show you some of the uh, tips and tricks that I use. So usually if you're watching something on YouTube, usually when you want to watch some TEDx video, okay. So what do we do usually? We watch that TEDx video, maybe after watching it for long. What the hell is this? Let me get that link. So this is one of the example video. So these are some of the ChatGPT tricks that I use. You may find them useful. Everybody, you might be having your own tricks for sure. Okay. So you can take some of these. So what I do is, especially nowadays, what I'm doing is to find out what exactly is there in this video. Let's say this is the video. I'm interested in this video. I'm interested in this video, but I don't have the time. Like, I don't even have 12 minutes attention span. So what makes a good life? Lessons from longest study on happiness. Basically, I just want to know what makes people happy, but I don't have the time to go through this whole video. So what you can do is you can take that video, you can directly give it to a large language model like ChatGPT. For ChatGPT, it's a lengthy process, but if you are using Bard, okay, which is another large language model, but what is the difference? Bard is given by whom? Do you know that? Who owns Bard?
Google.
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 Correct. Yes. ChatGPT is owned by whom?
OpenAI.
OpenAI. That's right. OpenAI. Now, you just give the link of YouTube and you just ask it to summarize for you. So for Bard, you write summarize the content discussed in this video and arrange the content output. Let me just discard this and then get this text. I'll get this text. So I gave the YouTube link, and before that, what am I writing? Look at my instruction. Summarize the content discussed in the video, arrange the output into sections, subsections, Make sure that a minimum of 4 lines, a minimum of 4 lines are there in each of the subsections. And then I gave the YouTube video. Then automatically what Bard is going to do is it will go to that YouTube video and then it will summarize it for me, especially when I'm going through very lengthier videos. Right now I'm learning a lot about this generative AI course. We are going to introduce that. I'm a text-based AI, I can't assist you with that. Looks like they want license from me, or let me give that link once again. Again, this video summarizes the findings of Harvard study on development, and it was done for 75 years. This is one of the longest research that has happened until now. Okay. So the key takeaways are, like, if you really want to be happy, like after 75 years of research, they found that social connections and the quality of relationships that you have and the blah blah blah. This is what the video says. Like, not just that video, any video. Okay. Let's say if I go for this one. So become a person you can't imagine. Okay. Self-worth. Let's take another one. Okay. The 100% rule. Basically what this person is trying to say in that 100% rule. If you do not know that, you simply type the link here and then you copy paste it. Let us give here itself. This is another link that I gave and then upload. So basically going through this whole video, usually instead of going through the video, taking the notes will be very lengthy process. Here we can directly take that, what is the instructor trying to say, and you can adjust this also. But if you're doing it in chat GPT, the way you should do it is you go to the show transcript part and then you copy the transcript from beginning to the ending. Even if they are numbers, it doesn't matter. Or you can go to transcript, toggle the time steps, and then you copy that whole transcript. Since Bard is by Google, YouTube is also by Google, directly they are taking that video. But Chat GPT doesn't have access to that. So that's why we have to give it. Okay. So let me open a new chat and then paste that whole and then give my text. What is that? Summarize, etc., whatever we have given earlier, the same thing. So this is my transcript. So usually to separate it, you give 3 quotations, okay? Because this is not part of the prompt. So between your prompt and your text, you can give 3 quotations and then you give your prompt. What is my prompt? Summarize the content discussed in the below video. In the below video, arrange this one a minimum into sections and subsections. Enter. So that is the whole text that we have given. This video transcript, we have provided the background and the turning point, Zigzagger's motivational conference, etc., the process of change, etc. Everything is here. This is one trick that I use, and like when I'm learning about this prompt engineering and all that, I found some of the good prompts. I have collected a few prompts. Like this is the list of prompts, like especially if some of our students, they are looking for data science roles. So these are some of the good prompts that will help you to write a cover letter, crafting a cover letter for data, like any position, resume building exercise, email submission, like how do you write a email to a recruiter, interview preparation, mock tests, simulating, etc. I have listed down all those prompts here. So anybody can take this prompt. This link is here. I'm going to share this document with you. You can just take this prompt and you can just change it. For example, generate a set of, let's say, 10 interview questions aligned to the job description provided. You provide the job description, copy paste it, refer the job description here. You just refer it. Okay. Either link or directly give the overall job description, or simulate a technical mock interview for the job role. that I am seeking. Job role is data analyst or a data scientist. Present a series of 15 questions related to specified technology, probably Power BI or Tableau or SQL, one by one, evaluating my knowledge and skills. So these are some of the job related ones. For sales and marketings, I have created some of the prompts for marketing strategies, sales follow-up communication. How do you give effective follow-up communication? What are some of the marketing strategies that you can use? Uh, Strategies for negotiation. How do you actually convince somebody? For negotiation also, there are 5, 6 skills that you can use. Crafting effective cold emails, techniques for closing the call, all of them, the prompts that you may find useful. I have kept them here. I have given edtech related examples also. This is a general example, like this is the original prompt for a general example. Okay. This is the one like for any general business, for particularly our company, for our business. Okay. How do you do it? Like compose like this is general marketing prompt. Compose a 60-second script for an advertisement, vividly describes unique features, benefits of your product, services, company, etc. Here in our case, it will be create a script for ad that highlights the interactive, engaging learning experience by our online coding bootcamp, emphasizing effectiveness in preparing students for tech careers. So these are some of the general ones, general marketing prompts and sales negotiation prompts. Okay. And then sales closing related prompts, sales follow-up related prompts, cold calls prompts. Basically, what I'm saying is until now, you are 1x. You are just the version of yourself or the best version of yourself. You have to use chat GPT. You have to be 10x very soon. And it is possible. Until now, you have to worry if you want to take a suggestion from an expert. If you want to take one of the best marketing guy, marketing strategists in the world, if you want to take his appointment, it was impossible. Even if he gives an appointment, he will give you maximum 15 minutes. If you ask questions more than 4 or 5, he will not pay attention to you. But chat GPT is 100 experts, 100 marketing experts sitting in front of you, and they're ready to help you. And no matter how many times you ask, they will keep on giving you the results again and again, again and again, again and again. So finally, use ChatGPT, be 10x of yourself. I'm not just talking about professional career only. I'm talking about your goal setting and progress tracking. You can use ChatGPT for professional skill development. Obviously, you will use it. Okay. Technology and digital tools. Anybody can learn anything right now. Your background doesn't matter. Your personal branding and networking, your functional or financial acumen. How do you improve your financial related stuff? How do you invest, like work life balance? In fact, this image that you see, that has also, in fact, the whole PPT that I have shown you, every slide I have used chat GPT to prepare it. Chat GPT plus some other large language models together, but I have not really used anything from my own experience. I have used everything from chat GPT to prepare this particular. Obviously, I have given the structure and so on, but I have used the tools earlier to prepare a PPT of this quality. I mean to say, the contents which are there in it, it used to take a lot of time. Now I have used 1/10 of the time. Okay, to prepare this particular paper. When I went to Bhubaneswar, within 4 days, on the fourth day I have the class. I have prepared it within 4 days. Then in the last few days I have made some modifications. You can be 10x right now. Your x, you can be 10x within 1 year. You want to stay relevant in your own role, that I'm saying. Improve your current productivity by using Chat GPT. Are you with me, everyone? First, use ChatGPT, and there are several other exciting aspects within ChatGPT. GPT stories there, like GPT stories, like customized GPTs for particular context or particular domain. Now, ChatGPT is for everything, but let us suppose if you want to create only logos, logo creator is one of the GPT. Let's say if you want to use ChatGPT for data analysis, it can be used. Creative writing and coach, etc., etc. This GPT store also as customized GPTs. So that is the story of prompt engineering. It's not really a very hard topic or anything. We just need to be aware of it. There's something called prompt designing that we have to do. That's all you need to know. I'll now open the forum for Q&A and then we'll wrap it. Anybody having any questions? Anybody? Anybody having any questions? Let me stop the recording.